I'm ahead of the curve, also known as James Bergman, and I thought I would show you guys some books that I have recently picked up. It was also my birthday fairly recently, so I did get some gifts, and I also bought some books for myself. And so the two I want to start off with showing you guys are ones that I've already actually read at this point, but I wanted to share with you because I feel like they are definitely worth mentioning. So I'm going to start with Emile Chorin's The Trouble with Being Born. This is a book that I only just finished like a couple days ago or something. It's a very, very short book, and it's basically a book of aphorisms. And if you're not aware of what an aphorism is, it's not a very used term nowadays, but it's basically like small passages or quotes, that kind of thing. And Chorin is a existentialist philosopher, and he is definitely, yeah, he's known as being a pessimistic man, and any reading of this will definitely give you that impression. So, and there is a thing that I'm doing. It might be out by the time this video is out. I'm not really sure. I might actually post this video before. I don't know, but there is something coming, or it has already come on my channel about this book. So I'm excited to share that with you. So yeah, that's The Trouble with Being Born. It's very, very dark and pessimistic, but there is a glimmer of hope in what Chorin says. If you really want to try your hardest, I suppose, to do that. So the next book that I have read before that book is Susan Sontag's Against Interpretation. This is a really, really good book. I was dazzled by it. It's really just, yeah, as the back says, an intellectual performance. Sontag is a writer that I've never read before. She was most prominent in the 60s, and she is known to be kind of this feminist activist writer. And her collection of essays titled Against Interpretation are really, really good. I mean, they range from films and you know, art itself, like talking about art and style, and talking about loads of different authors as well. I mean, like, you know, Nietzsche, Dostoevsky, Moravia, you know, some of the Kierkegaard and other kind of people like that. So I would really recommend this if you like essays on the philosophy of art, I guess. Yeah, so, and literature. So yeah, a really, really good book, Against Interpretation by Sontag. So now on to books that I have not yet read, that I'm going to get to very soon. So the first one I'm going to start off with, Javier Marais' A Heart So White. This was a recommendation to me, and I don't really know much about it apart from somebody, yeah, ends himself at the beginning of the novel, and apparently it's just a very interesting kind of generational drama, somewhat philosophical at times, psychological novel. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this, A Heart So White. It's been, yeah, I mean, it's held in itself a good esteem, so I'm looking forward to it. So the next book is a book by Nietzsche, shock horror. I haven't read all of his books yet. I mean, I've got like 2 or 3 more to go, including this one. So yeah, this is just one I haven't read yet by him, The Birth of Tragedy. Again, quite a short piece. I'm finding that I've read a lot of his longer books at this point, and I'm now getting through his more essay pieces. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading Nietzsche. The next book I picked up quite recently the next 2 books, yeah, the next 2 books after this as well, I picked up on the same day. I just went into this random bookshop, this charity shop. Oxfam bookshops are really, really good in England. They normally, I don't know, sometimes they have nothing, but sometimes they have like 4 books and you just splash out. But this book is a collection of ghost stories by M.R. James. I have no idea how good it is, but it's got pretty good ratings on Goodreads. And I quite like the psychology of the paranormal, as you guys have noticed in my recent video. I've done a lot of work on that kind of area. So yeah, I thought I'd give this one a go. And the front cover is quite cool as well. I do like covers that catch the eye. So the next one is the Dhammapada. Yeah, this is known as a classical text of aphorisms on the Buddhist philosophy, basically. And yeah, I picked this up. I mean, it's not normally the editions that I go for. I go for Penguin in the newest editions, but I must say they are quite nice. They got a lot of charm. I think for the smaller physical books, I think it can work sometimes to get these little thin ones. It does look quite nice. So the next one of the same edition is Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. I probably butchered that. I haven't actually checked what the correct translation is, so I hope I'm not going to be butchered for doing so, and I would question somebody's choice of time to do so as well. But this is, yeah, a classic Taoism text, and I'm looking forward to reading that. I mean, I have read books on, more Eastern philosophies like Alan Watts, Krishnamurti. I did go through quite a phase of alternative philosophies, and I find them very, very interesting, but it's been quite a while since I've delved into it. I kind of read a lot of Alan Watts's books until I got a bit tired of him. I'm sure many people can relate to that. And the next book was actually recommended to me by somebody in the comments section of my last book video that I posted 2 weeks ago or so. And this is Hegel's Phenomenology of Spirit. Yeah, thank you for recommending me this. Hopefully you're watching to know that I really did buy the book. I did what I said in my comment, in my reply to you. I actually did buy the book. It's kind of just a book that I need to read, and especially considering I'm starting a master's in philosophy, I want to, and obviously I've already read a lot of relevant books, but Hegel is somebody that I have never formally got introduced to, so I'm looking forward to getting into him, as well as because he's just so prominent, so impactful from what I've heard anyway. So the next book that I picked up is The Evolution of Desire by David M. Buss. Yeah, so kind of does what it says on the front cover, I suppose. Not that I've read it, of course, but no, I just found this because for no reason at all, really. I just have hundreds upon hundreds of books on my want to read list on Goodreads, and I was just like, yeah, I want to give this a go. It's been, I do want to get into psychology as much as I do philosophy, even though I just finished a degree on psychology, but I want to keep up to standards. So The Evolution of Desire should be very interesting. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. So the following book is what I have been reading this week, these past few days, and it is the diaries of the relatively unknown writer Cesare Pavese, and he is an Italian author, and I also picked up another book by him, but I'll show that afterwards. So he was an Italian author, and the reason why I'm reading his diaries before reading any of his books is that I have heard that he's a very intriguing man, and his character is, well, I've heard him in Sontag's essays, and I've also heard him in A. Alvarez's book on suicide, and I was very, very intrigued to read his own personal thoughts, as ludicrous and invasive as that seems, to read somebody else's diaries. But yeah, no, I picked this up, and I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah, I mean, the thing is with diaries is you have to kind of realize that they are diaries, and the majority of the time the person doesn't actually intend for them to be read by the public. With Pavese, I feel like it doesn't seem as if they were supposed to be public, but he writes in such a way that it makes it seem like they were supposed to be read by the public. He's a very eloquent and almost rant-ish journaler, which is at times a bit much, but also like what he says is intriguing enough to justify how, I don't know, how aggressive he is in some of what he says, in not necessarily a bad way, but just he's very repetitive in some of the ideas that he's trying to say. But again, like, his diaries were supposed to be a kind of soundboard to orate to and to bounce back at yourself. That's the whole point of writing in some sense, reflectively anyway. So the next book is, I'm going to just order this logically, which would probably be a good idea. So yeah, this is his selected works. This is Pavis's selected fictional works. And yeah, I've heard, again, I haven't read any of him yet, as I have said, but apparently his themes are quite existential, philosophical, psychological, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And also these editions are really, really cool. I love the New York Review Books editions. They look really great. And I've got another one to show you as well. Alberto Morevia's Boredom. So as you guys know, I read Contempt, and I made a video on that book, and I wanted, yeah, to check out his book Boredom, and I have heard good things, and I don't know when I'm going to read it, but I want to read it relatively soon. And yeah, it is in a same edition. Really, really cool. And the last book that I wanted to share is Robert Burton's Bible of a book, The Anatomy of Melancholy. Just look at that cover. Again, it's, oh yeah, coincidentally, it's also from the same New York Review Books classics, or whatever they're called. And this is huge. I mean, I mean, look at it. Yeah, so this is huge, and it's been recommended to me by a few different people at this point. And yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to reading it, but also intimidated, as you may be able to tell. So yeah, so that's all the books that I have to show that I am going to read in the next few weeks, months, whatever, and potentially do videos maybe revolving around or about, in some sense. I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel about it. I don't want to force a video out, but if one of these books speaks to me, like Charan's or Contempt, then, you know, I will do that for sure. So yeah, that's about all I have for today's video. I know that you guys liked the previous book video I posted, so I thought, why not just show you some new ones that I recently got. Yeah, and if any of you guys have read any of these authors, then let me know what you thought of them, of course. And yeah, leave a like on the video if you enjoy it, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.